Welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Larry Kiser is a lifelong athlete whose passion for movement started on the football field, where he walked on, played, and even lettered for Brigham Young University. These days, you'll find him golfing with friends, hiking, or mountain biking around St. George, Utah. After surviving a heart attack in 2020, Larry made a commitment to take control of what he could, his health, his mindset, and his daily habits. In August of 2025, he even conquered the 29029 Everesting challenge, climbing the height of Mount Everest by hiking Whistler Mountain in British Columbia, Canada, 8 times in 36 hours. Married to his best friend Julie for nearly 40 years and a proud dad of 5 and grandpa to 10, Larry now channels the same focus and purpose into helping others as a financial planner. Larry, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, Kyle.
Man, you've done some pretty cool things.
Yeah, I've kind of had to find my own way, but I've gotten it done.
Well, that's awesome. I want to talk a little bit about football.
Yeah.
So you played football as a youth.
Yep.
And then you had the opportunity to play at a level that most people don't get the chance to. Talk a little bit about that experience of playing, the walking on, the nerves. Just how did that go for you?
Well, I started playing when I was in 4th grade. We lived in Tennessee, and my dad came home one day and said, "Do you want to try out for football?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely," because I had the Sears Roebuck football uniform.
I remember the one
for the Miami Dolphins, and I was ready to go. He made one comment to me that has always stuck with me. He says, "Okay, but here's the deal: if you make the team, you can't quit. You gotta go to practices. I don't want to fight with you to get you to go." And man, he never had to fight me. He probably had to calm me down.
Yeah.
But anyway, that fast forward, I played in high school, and I decided to go to Brigham Young University. And for me at the time, it was a new experience. I didn't even know until about a year before then that the church had a school.
Okay.
And so when I started hearing about them, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this sounds like where I might want to go.
Yeah.
And so I went there. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I served a mission. So when I got there, at first, I hadn't put in my papers yet, and I decided I was going to try and walk on. Well, I tried to walk on, and I didn't make it.
Okay.
And so I said, well, I'll go on my mission. I'll come back and play. And as I went on my mission, I told everybody that I ran across at some point, I'm going to play at BYU. And they're like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, I am. And my dad's a pretty practical person. He's an electrical engineer and very analytical. And he's like, don't waste your breath, just get going on school and get education. I'm like, no, I'm going to play. So I came back, and it was spring. I walked on, and I went to the tryouts, and I didn't make it. And the way they do that is they have graduate assistants. It's kind of a cattle call. They just put you in and run some drills. And they make an arbitrary decision. And then the next day they post the names on the football office. So you go the next day and you're sitting there and you're hoping your name's there. And I looked and my name wasn't there, and I got ticked. And I went outside of the Smith Field House and walked up and down the sidewalk. And finally I said, I'm going in. So I went in, and there's Shirley Johnson was there. Shirley is a long-time secretary, administrative assistant for Lavelle Edwards.
Okay.
And I just went in there kind of bold. I said, Shirley, I need to talk to Coach Felt. Well, he was the defensive coordinator. And she must have thought I was a student athlete because she kind of pointed me back to his office. And I was like, okay, so now
I made it through the barricade.
Yeah, I'm in the castle. So now what? And I go walking back there, and as I walked right past Coach Edwards. He was looking at me, and he had this look like, who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just kept going, and I got to Coach Felt's office, and I said, Coach, my name's Larry Kiser, and my name's not on the list. And he goes, what list? And he was watching reel-to-reel tape in this little bitty office, back and forth up on the wall. And I said, my name's Larry Kiser, and my name's not on the list. I can play. I said, the list for walk-ons. And he goes, well, do you have your cleats? And I said, no, but I can get them. He goes, meet me on the field in 20 minutes. So I raced home. I got pulled over by the police because I was speeding.
No. Okay.
I promised him I would slow down, and I told him what was going on. He let me go, thankfully.
Must have been a BYU.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my cleats, and I went back, and Coach Felt ran me through one-on-one drills, just he and I.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything. We walked back across the parking lot, back to the Smithfield house, back to Shirley's desk, and he tore the corner off of one of Shirley's pieces of paper sitting on and wrote, Floyd, give Larry a locker and some equipment. Well, Floyd Johnson was over 70. He was the equipment manager. I knew who he was because I'd scoped the whole place out. I knew where everything was.
Done your reconnaissance.
And he handed it to me and he walked off. And he didn't say anything. And I'm just like, what does this mean? So then I knew where it was. So I sprinted back there because I'm like, he's going to call and tell him not to do it. And I'm like, so I go run in
a locker before
exactly.
It's
So I go running back there and I find Mr. Johnson and I said, he starts asking me sizes and stuff. And finally I got my courage up and I said, Mr. Johnson, did I make the team? And he goes, son, they wouldn't be giving you this stuff if you hadn't made the team. So that's how I made the BYU football team. And I played for a little over 2 years, got my letter, got on the field, recovered a fumble on a kickoff. I mean, I did a few things.
Wow. What a great story.
So that was my welcome to college football.
Talk about, as you said, a bold move, some determination, some grit, but also some hard work and some talent that got you there. Do you have, in the time that you played, do you have a favorite memory that stands out as a BYU football player?
Well, it was the day they told me. It never happened, but they did tell me Coach Norm Chow was the offensive coordinator. And, of course, I was going against his offense every day as a scout team player.
Right, yeah.
Trying to look like the team we were playing that week. And I had earned the Scout Player of the Week multiple weeks. We got to the bowl game. We're playing UCLA down at the Freedom Bowl in Anaheim. And he pulls me aside after practice one day and he says, hey, just want you to know that when we get home, you're going to be getting a scholarship. And I was elated. The only game my parents ever came to was that game.
Yeah.
And I went and found Julie, my wife, and my parents, and we kind of had our own little mosh pit in the hotel room, jumping up and down with our arms around each other because I'd done it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't turn out that way. Got back and Coach Edwards had my meeting with him in the spring, and he said, hey, your position coach doesn't think he can sacrifice a scholarship for you. And that's when I told him, I said, well, look, if I'm going to do this, that was year one. So if I'm going to do this, I got a wife and 2 kids at home. Well, one child is second on the way.
One on the way.
And it's like a job. And so I need an opportunity to at least play. He goes, I'll make sure you get a chance to try out for special teams. I said, okay. And I made special teams. And then I traveled with them all the next year. We went to Australia. We played in the All-American Bowl in Birmingham. And same thing, pulled aside at the end. You're going to get a scholarship when we get home. I kind of looked at him like, are you sure? And
said, I've heard this before.
And I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
And that was the saddest day in a lot of ways up until that point in my life where I had to say goodbye. And I told Coach Edwards, I said, if that's the case, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
I got a family to take care of.
Well, you said it, playing D1 university sports, it is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hours and hours of film, of practice, of weight room, conditioning. I don't know if everybody really understands that. A lot of us have, and I didn't get to play in college, but I had a brother who wrestled on Boise State's team. So I got to watch it vicariously, but it's a 40-hour-a-week job.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, you're a student. You're trying to keep your grades up. And then, as you said, you're trying to take care of a family.
You know what I mean?
Everything's different now, right? Everything's different now. But, well, what a great experience, and definitely full of ups and downs, but that's life.
Sure.
And that's certainly sports.
Well, it taught me something. And what it taught me was anything I set my mind to and that I want to do bad enough, I can do. There's nothing stopping me from that. And it's helped me in my career and other things where sometimes you just buckle down and you say, you know what, there's no reason this can't be done. I can learn, I can be coached, I can get to where I need to get. And that's been the overpowering lesson.
Well, and as you said, that is one of the great lessons of sport. And we can learn that lesson in other places. You can learn it through work. You can learn it through learning an instrument. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can learn. There's a lot of ways that you can learn that lesson. But that is a lesson. If you do it right, that is a lesson that comes out of sports. And especially as a young athlete, a student athlete in high school and in college especially, if you can learn that idea, that concept, it is something that can make a difference in your life for sure.
Forgive me for interrupting, but you did ask me kind of a fun memory.
Yeah.
I'll just give a real quick one. We were at school for summer, and we were working out and, hitting the weights hard and all that kind of stuff. And they bring in the football camp kids, the 12 and 13-year-olds. And I heard this little boy talking with a Southern accent, and being from Tennessee,
it stood out.
I found this a soulmate, right?
Yeah.
So here I am, peak physical condition. Here's this little 13-year-old. And I said, "Hey, where are you from?" He goes, "New York." I said, "You're not from New York." His buddy goes, "No, he's from Louisiana." I go, "Louisiana?" I go, "Heck, I'm from Tennessee." And he looked at me and he goes, "Heck, a Cajun's better than a hillbilly any day." I'm like, "You little sucker." So anyway, that's my fun little story.
Bro, I love that. It's fun to make connections across the board. And again, sport is a great way to do that. We see that here at the games, those funny little aside connections that aren't really part of the competition, but they still enhance the experience and make it great.
Well, sometimes that's what you remember, is that more so than some of the other stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you had the opportunity to play. Obviously, you played at the highest level that was available to you, which is amazing. Congratulations on that. Your kids got a chance to play as well. Talk a little bit about how that feels.
Yeah. So I got a chance to coach all of my sons. We have 5 kids, 3 boys. The last 3 were sons. And I coached them in little league football. I actually coached my youngest son at high school. I wasn't the head coach. I was an assistant here at Desert Hills. And it was, I guess what rose to the surface during all that was the fact that, to me, done right, high school athletics and things like that are more about building character and who the person is than it is about winning. Of course, you want to win, and we'll do everything we can to win within the rules. But we had some difficult experiences with my son that turned into marvelous victories. But man, we had to go through the fire.
Yeah.
And it was tough. My son ended up winning the state championship with Desert Hills on the final play of the game. He flipped the ball to the receiver on a broken play. He was the quarterback, and we won with 3 seconds left, 4 seconds left. So that wouldn't have happened had he not been through the fire earlier, I don't think.
Yeah.
But that confidence was kind of instilled in him, and he was able to weather the storm because he had kind of a rough outing up until that point.
Yeah.
And so it was cool.
Well, again, there's a lot of different ways to learn these life lessons. Sport is not the only way, but it is a great way.
Yeah.
It is a great way. And it sounds like you've had some great experiences for yourself as well as with your family. I want to shift gears just a little bit. I talked in the introduction about the 2020 incident, the 2020 heart attack.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. What happened?
Well, I had gone on a long bike ride that day. I had done the loop where people won't know, but it was about a 19, 20-mile loop.
Okay.
And I was on a mountain bike on the road. It wasn't, like strenuous. It just was distance. And I was just trying to, do something to work out.
Yeah.
So my heart had been pumping pretty hard. I didn't notice a thing. Everything was fine, as it always had been. And then that night, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm sitting with my wife on the couch, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel weird, like something's wrong.
Something's not right.
And I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I just felt like I started sweating and stuff like that. And I wasn't doing anything. And I said, fortunately, I wasn't the stubborn, male at that point. I was like, no, we need to go.
Yeah. Something's not right.
And this is at the height of COVID, right? COVID just kicked in.
2020.
And So we get over to the hospital here, and it's the emergency room. They let her come in with me. We were in the emergency room, and they did all these tests and everything, and they said, we're not seeing much. There's some elevated, this and that, but we're not seeing much. And they said, and we're going to have your wife go home now. And I'm like, seriously? Yep. So they took me back to an observation room, and they hooked me up to the EKG and all that again. I was already hooked up to it, but they undid it and moved me and then put it back on. And then the nurse walks in, she goes, hey, you're having a heart attack right now. Well, I'm like, are we getting popcorn and going to watch? What are we doing?
Yeah. What's the next step here?
And it took a long time, way longer than I think it should have, but that's a different story. Finally, they get me in. The cardiac team gets there. It's, 2 a.m, 3 a.m. And it was weird. I was on this bed, and there's a great big screen TV next to me. And the doctor's looking at that big screen as he's trying to get a catheter in to run up through, I think he was trying to get it through my wrist, and they just couldn't get it. So they decided to go in through the femoral artery.
Yeah.
Long story short, they put in one stent. It happened to be below the break in the two arteries. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I guess above that's what they call the widowmaker.
The widowmaker, yeah, we know that one.
And what happened was some plaque had broken loose. I have genetic heart disease that I was totally unaware of, that I'm sure I got from my mother.
Yeah.
Her father died of a heart attack. She's had, stents and different things, and some plaque just broke loose and kind of blocked it. So they put in that stent. I literally, they kept telling me I had to stay for 2 or 3 days. I'm like, no, I'm good. And I had been walking and riding my bike and all these things. So they get me up to walk me around the hall. I'm like, guys, I walk 4 and 5 miles a day. You just took
Every day.
You just took me 500 feet. I'm good.
Yeah.
I finally persuaded them to let me come home, but I was in there a day and a half, 2 days without being able to see anybody in my family,
Yeah.
being able to talk. But I came home and I went out to my little garden and started working in my garden, and it was like nothing had ever happened.
Wow.
And I've never had another incident. I've done follow-ups and all that and stayed on top of it. But that's where the shift mentally changed from doing things because I enjoyed them to doing things because I enjoy them, but they're also going to help mitigate this kind of stuff going forward as much as possible.
Well, and it sounds like you were already doing a lot of great things. So this heart attack came really out of the blue, was unexpected.
Completely.
You find out there's most likely a genetic element to it. Did you make some adjustments in your life other than the mindset? Did you change your diet? You're already exercising.
They gave me some pills and stuff, and I took those for about 1.5 years, and then I was like, no, I just don't feel like I need those, and I haven't. And I've been checked regularly, so it's like things have kind of calmed down, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, the good news is I wasn't like out of control before that happened with eating or anything else. I've always been trying to manage my weight.
Yeah.
And
take care of yourself.
Yeah. And do those parts. I think all it did was just tell me that, hey, a cheeseburger 5 days in a row probably is not a good,
maybe not the best idea.
So, my wife takes good care of me. She makes sure that we're eating as healthy as possible. If I frequent a local establishment too much, she'll let me know.
She'll let you know. She's a good reminder.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad that you've got it worked out and that things are going well for you.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this Everesting challenge.
Yeah.
How did you hear about it?
So, one of the firms I'm affiliated with, my marketing organization, if you will, the CEO is good friends with the gentleman that founded this. And he approached me about it probably 4 years ago and said, you got to do it. And I'm like, what is it? And he explained it, and I was like, I don't know. It just wasn't ringing a lot of bells for me.
Yeah.
But he stayed after me, and he just kept telling me, I really feel like if you would embrace this challenge, that you'll find that it's going to change your practice and your life, because you're willingly committing to do something that's really difficult. Nobody's
that most people are
Yeah.
unwilling or unable to do.
nobody's watching, nobody's forcing your hand, but it's, you've chosen to do it. And that helps you in business because now you look at these obstacles and you're like, we can overcome these, we can do that. So I didn't obviously understand what was on the horizon. I was nervous about being able to do it.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, just as a way of explanation, they have different North American ski resorts that they rent out during the summer, and it rotates through about 7 to 10 different venues.
Okay.
And they'll do 5 to 6, I think, a year, maybe more sometimes. But what they do is you get on that mountain and they measure the altitude gain from the bottom of the chairlift to the top of the chairlift of one of their longer runs. And then they divide that into the height of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So Mount Everest, although I hear it's growing because of the tectonic plate shifting, is 29,029 feet. And so that's where 29029 comes from.
Yeah.
And then the Everesting take on it. And so at the mountain I did at Whistler, it was a little over that. We ended up, I thought it was funny because at the end I was like doing the math. I'm like, wait a minute, I climbed like 31,000 feet. And they were like, well, that's because we don't stop in the middle of the mountain.
You just got to keep going to the top,
So, and what they've done is they've said, it's not a race. It's just you against you. And if you can get it done in 36 hours, and mind you, you've paid a pretty penny to be there.
Sure.
They've got top of the line,
support and everything that you need.
Exactly. The hotel rooms, everything, the food, nutrition and hydration, all that. But you get a red hat. So you get this red baseball cap that says 29029, and it doesn't mean anything to everybody, but it means something to those that have done it.
Yeah.
Like if you see somebody in the red hat, you're like, give them a little head nod. Like, I feel you.
It's a unique and special club.
Yeah,
for sure. Not everybody's doing this.
And a lot of people do it. They don't get it done in the first time. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but that was in my mind. Like, okay, I know people after having brought this up, I met several at the marketing organization that have tried and not gotten it done.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it too, because they always say, whatever I got done was my Everest for this year. So it's not like it was a failure.
Yeah.
It was just, I only got this far. But
that's what you accomplished, and that was yours.
And so that was my situation. I got into it. I really dug in this summer before it happened, primarily because I have a grandson who passed away at 3 years of age. And man, that hit us hard.
That hurts.
And I found it really hard to spend any time at work. Every time I would go to sit down and do work, I would just get frustrated. And I'm starting to come out of that a little bit. It's been several months now, but having 29029 to get ready for was my salvation.
Yeah. First of all, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Appreciate that.
Congratulations on finding a productive way to move forward and to work through it.
Yeah.
And I know it's not over. There's still work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you.
We got about 10 seconds. Biggest lesson that you learned?
Well, you have to prepare. You can't go into it without giving it some preparation. Fortunately, I feel like I over-prepared in some ways. But at the end of the day, there's victory in just getting up and going, whether it's day to day, minute by minute. Sometimes it's that hard, and you just have to look at it as, hey, we did that, and let's go forward.
I love that. Larry, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Just a couple of things to wrap us up quick here. It's hard to believe, but the games have been over for almost a week. But the memories still remain. You can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/World Senior Games for some incredible photos and memories of the games. Also, take a look at our website, seniorgames.net. There you're going to find all the results and more. If you want to plan ahead, and why not plan ahead, team registration for the 2026 Huntsman World Senior Games will open on January 1st. Individual registration opens on March 1st, and the games will run from October 5th through the 17th of 2026. So put that in your calendar. Next week, we're going to have a chance to meet with Marilee Bingham. She is a first-year employee of the games at our gift shop. Fitness has been a huge motivator for her, both for being stronger physically as well as being stronger mentally. Marilee thrives in outdoor activities. She likes hiking and camping, and she currently teaches upbeat bar classes as well. Remember to tune in live next and every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time on AM 1450 or FM 93.1 for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. We take this live show and turn it into a podcast, and you can subscribe anywhere the podcasts are found. If you're listening or watching the podcast, take a moment and give us a rating, write a quick review. That can really help us spread the word. You can also find this in previous shows right on our website. Again, that is seniorgames.net, so check that out. Today's inspirational thought comes from the great Christopher Reeve, Superman, who once said, "Once you choose hope, anything is possible." Until next Thursday, stay active.